Listen, I need to be completely honest with you right now. What I'm about to show you is going to fundamentally change how you think about the American housing market, and specifically about Florida. If you've been considering a move to the Sunshine State, or if you already live there, what's unfolding in these 10 towns should terrify you. And before we dive deep into this crisis, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe, because this kind of raw, unfiltered investigation into America's housing collapse is exactly what this channel is all about. It's January 2026, and something catastrophic is happening in Florida. We're not talking about a market correction or a temporary downturn. We're witnessing the systematic collapse of entire communities, where homes that once sold for over $200,000 are now going for less than $60,000. And shockingly, they're still sitting empty. No buyers, no hope, just abandoned dreams and rusting for sale signs. The paradox is staggering. Miami's luxury condos still command seven-figure prices. Tampa's housing market continues climbing. Orlando keeps breaking records. But venture just an hour inland into the forgotten corners of this peninsula, and you'll discover something that shouldn't exist in America's fourth most populous state. Modern ghost towns where the American dream didn't just die, it was systematically executed. The insurance apocalypse that started. It all, before we count down these 10 communities, you need to understand the perfect storm that created this disaster. The insurance crisis of 2023 to 2025 became the match that lit Florida's housing market on fire. When Citizens Property Insurance, Florida's insurer of last resort, hit 1.5 million policies in late 2025, the warning signs became impossible to ignore. State Farm, Allstate, Progressive, and dozens of smaller carriers didn't just raise rates. They completely withdrew from entire counties. Imagine owning a home worth $150,000. Your insurance company sends a letter. They're leaving Florida. You search for new coverage. The only quote? $12,000 annually. That's 8% of your home's value every year just for basic coverage. You can't sell because buyers can't get mortgages without insurance. You can't stay because you can't afford the premiums. You're trapped in a financial prison with no escape. This isn't theoretical. This is the daily reality for hundreds of thousands of Floridians right now in early 2026. Number 10. Moore Haven, the town that insurance abandoned. Moore Haven sits on the edge of Lake Okeechobee like a community waiting for the inevitable. Population 1,734 and declining. The median home price just dropped to $52,000. $52,000 for an entire house in America in 2026. In 2019, homes here sold for $165,000. Hurricane Ian's near miss in 2022 flooded the town with 4 feet of water. Then came Hurricane Idalia in 2023. The lake simply overflows now during any significant storm. The insurance? Companies evacuated first. The few carriers still operating demand $9,500 annually for a $52,000 house. You're paying 18% of your home's value every year just to protect it. U.S. Sugar Corporation, the town's largest employer, eliminated another 300 positions in 2025. The workforce that remains faces an impossible choice: stay in a dying town or abandon everything. You could purchase 4 houses in Moore Haven for the price of a new Ford F-150, but the insurance costs would bankrupt most people within a decade. Number 9. Palatka, where time stopped and hope died. Palatka, the self-proclaimed bass fishing capital of the world, now resembles a post-apocalyptic film set. Population 9,987. Median home price $63,000. In 2006, that same property commanded $189,000. Walk down Reed Street and count the empty storefronts. 52% are vacant as of December 2025. The Palatka Mall now hosts only squatters and urban explorers documenting decay. The demographic collapse tells the real story. College graduates from St. John's River State College leave at an 81% rate, never to return. Georgia Pacific's paper mill employed 1,400 people in 2010. By 2025, that number dropped to 287. Those jobs aren't coming back. Property crime increased 68% between 2019 and 2025, not because residents are criminals, but because desperation creates its own economy. Meanwhile, out-of-state investors scan Zillow, seeing $63,000 three-bedroom homes and thinking they've discovered a hidden treasure. One New York investment group purchased 23 properties sight unseen in 2025. They're still trying to find qualified tenants. Number 8. Avon Park, the city of charm, lost its magic. Avon Park's welcome sign still reads, City of Charm. Population 92001. Median home price $68,000. This community has 8 beautiful lakes. Except that those lakes are dying. Blue-green algae blooms so toxic that permanent warning signs surround every body of water. The South Florida Water Management District's Decembers. 2025 testing revealed microcystin levels 52 times above safe limits. Dogs have died from drinking this water. Children have been hospitalized. Property values on these waterfront homes have collapsed 72% since 2022. The economic devastation accelerated when Avon Park Air Force Range announced restructuring in August 2025. 600 jobs eliminated. School enrollment dropped 39% in just 3 years. Here's the heartbreak. Retirees who arrived in the 1990s, who paid $200,000 or more for their homes, are watching their life savings evaporate. One couple, married 54 years, listed their home for 19 months. Started at $155,000, finally sold for $59,000. Number 7. Clewiston, America's sweetest town, turns. Bitter Clewiston earned its nickname from the sugar industry. Population 7,128. Median home price $71,000. In 2007, these same homes sold for $225,000. U.S. Sugar Corporation owns 60% of the commercial property outright. When global sugar prices collapsed in 2024, Clewiston bled. The company executed 2 massive layoff rounds, 450 workers in March 2025 and another 350 in October. The environmental lawsuits could destroy what's left. The Everglades Foundation has filed 7 separate actions for phosphorus runoff. If U.S. sugar significantly contracts, Clewiston doesn't decline. It ceases to exist. Clewiston High School had 890 students in 2015. Today, 398. The football team was disbanded, not enough players. Yet something strange is happening. Chinese investment groups quietly purchased 24 properties in the last 8 months. They're not renovating or renting, just holding. What are they waiting for? Number 6. McClenny, where Jacksonville's expansion dream died. McClenny sits just 30 miles west of Jacksonville. It should have become prime suburbia. Population 6,992. Median home price $74,000. The promise was simple. Live in affordable McClenny, work in Jacksonville, except Jacksonville expanded everywhere but west. The jobs never materialized. Now McClenny exists in economic limbo, too far for practical commuting, too small for its own economy. The largest employer? Baker Correctional Institution, a prison. Between 2020 and 2025, this town of 7,000 recorded 520 foreclosures. An FBI investigation involves systematic predatory lending. Banks have effectively redlined the entire zip code. Number 5. Fort Meade, the phosphate capital's radioactive legacy. Fort Meade was the phosphate capital of the world. Population 5,987. Median home price $76,000. Here's the number that matters. 3.4 billion gallons of radioactive wastewater sits in gypsum stacks surrounding this town. The EPA's January 2025 report found radium-226 levels in groundwater at 412% above safe limits. Homes that sold for $185,000 in 2018 now list at $76,000 and still don't move. When Mosaic shut the Fort Meade mine in 2021, 780 jobs vanished overnight. Over 3,000 people lost income in a town of $6,000. The Peace River literally changed color. It runs orange from iron oxide. Pollution. Yet investors are buying contaminated lots for $12,000, waiting for an EPA Superfund cleanup that might arrive in 2032. Number 4. Pahokee, the town where hope died. First, Pahokee sits in Palm Beach County, the same county where Mar-a-Lago commands headlines. But drive 48 miles inland and you enter a different dimension. Population, 5,423. Median home price, $77,000. The muck soil is disappearing. Within 15 years, there won't be enough left to farm profitably. But Pahokee's real apocalypse is this. The youth suicide rate is 4.7 times the national average. When you're 17, watching your town die, what hope remains? Pahokee High School once sent more players to the NFL per capita than any American high school. They can barely field a team now. A 4-bedroom house, 2,300 square feet, just sold for $69,000. The previous owner paid $275,000. The buyer? A Toronto investment firm that now owns 51 properties in Pahokee. Number 3. Frostproof. Where even the name became a lie. They named it Frostproof in 1906. Then the freeze of 1989 killed every citrus tree. Population, 3,087. Median home price, $79,000. The 2020 triple homicide made national headlines. Tourism flatlined. The town has cycled through 5 town managers in 4 years. Population declined 27% since 2019. School enrollment crashed 44%. The American Rescue Plan allocated Frostproof $1.3 million. The money vanished. The former town administrator fled to Costa Rica in 2024. Yet speculators continue buying. One Nevada LLC purchased 14 properties in November 2025. Just holding. Number 2. Belle Glade, the city progress. Forgot Belle Glade sits 45 miles from Palm Beach, 45 miles from America's wealthiest zip code. Population, 16,234. Median home price, $80,000. The poverty rate hits 41.2%. The HIV infection rate is the highest in the continental United States. Lake Okeechobee's toxic algae blooms devastate Belle Glade the most. The hospital reported 520 respiratory emergencies during the December 2025 bloom. 3-bedroom houses sell for $62,000, cash only. Slumlords from Miami subdivide homes into 4 units, charging $450 per room to migrant workers. Belle Glade Central High School has a 38% graduation rate. 62% of kids don't finish high school. This is America. This is January 2026. Number 1. Mariana, the death of the Panhandle Dream. Mariana claims the number 1 spot. Population, 5,987. Median home price, $51,000. Hurricane Michael, October 2018, Category 5. Mariana sits 70 miles inland, but the storm intensified as it moved inland. It's been over 7 years. Blue FEMA tarps still cover hundreds of roofs because nobody's coming to fix them. The Dozier School for Boys continues poisoning everything. 81 bodies discovered in unmarked graves so far. Downtown resembles a war zone with a 64% vacancy rate. Population declined 33% since Hurricane Michael, yet births exceeded deaths, meaning the exodus is worse than the numbers suggest. Foreign investment floods in. Romanian companies, Bulgarian LLCs, Ukrainian shell corporations buying entire blocks. What do they see that Americans refuse to acknowledge? The bigger picture. These 10 towns aren't anomalies, they're warnings. Citizens Property Insurance now holds 1.5 million policies and is functionally insolvent. One major hurricane and the entire system collapses. Wall Street packages these distressed properties into securities. The same financial engineering that created 2008, now Florida flavored. When this bubble bursts, it'll crater everyone exposed to these toxic assets. The human cost Margaret Williams, 75, moved to Moore Haven in 2001 with her husband. They paid $147,000. After he died, she sold it for $54,000 in 2025. Her retirement savings evaporated. She sleeps on her daughter's couch now. The Gonzalez family in Belle Glade, 3 generations of workers. The grandson lost their home to foreclosure in 2025. A Toronto firm bought it for $39,000. They now pay rent to Canadians who've never seen the property. What's really happening? Florida's collapse isn't random, it's engineered. Insurance companies fled when risk materialized. Banks redlined entire counties. Politicians approved coastal development despite knowing the risks. Now, financial giants are colonizing these towns, converting homeowners to renters, creating permanent underclasses. This is disaster capitalism perfected. Florida is the laboratory. The rest of America is next. What now? If you're outside Florida, don't feel safe. California's insurance crisis mirrors this trajectory. Louisiana faces an identical collapse. Are prices dropping in your area? Comment below and share your story. If you're considering buying in these towns, stop. That $51,000 house is a trap. The carrying costs will devour you. If you're already trapped, organize. Form land trusts. Block bulk sales. Fight back. The final word. Florida was supposed to be different. The retirement paradise, the American dreams, destination. Instead, it became a laboratory for collapse, a preview of climate change's financial devastation. These 10 towns aren't just dying, they're being murdered by systems designed to extract value until nothing remains. The houses selling for less than used cars aren't bargains, they're tombstones marking where dreams died. The question isn't whether these low prices are scams, they're reality. The question is, how many more towns will it take before we admit the American dream is dying? How many before we acknowledge the climate crisis is here? Florida's collapse isn't coming. It arrived years ago. These 10 towns are just the beginning. Unless we act, this future spreads everywhere. But we probably won't. We'll watch, comment, and move on. And Florida will continue transforming from paradise to wasteland. One foreclosure, one abandoned house, one dead dream at a time. Welcome to the new Florida, where home prices are so low you'll think it's a scam. But it's not a scam. It's just the future arriving ahead of schedule. And the future is already here.